Hi everyone, welcome to the Green Room, a place where theater people come to discuss their practice, process, and profession. I'm Jeremy Dobrush, director/playwright, and today we're doing our 5-4 segment with Rosalyn Coleman. 5 questions for Roz Coleman. So, who is Roz Coleman and why are we talking to her? Well, Rosalyn is an actress whose Broadway credits include the August Wilson plays 7 Guitars, Radio Golf, and The Piano Lesson. Rosalyn's latest project is Zooman and The Sign by Charles Fuller. Now, if you don't know the Signature Theater Company, their mission statement is unique. Under the artistic direction of James Houghton, each year they do a full season of work devoted to one particular playwright. In the past, they've done such playwrights as Edward Albee, Paula Vogel, and Adrian Kennedy. But this year, they're devoting their full season to the work of the Negro Ensemble Company. Now, another cool thing about Signature is that, thanks to a subsidy from Time Warner, every seat to every production is only $20. How cool is that? Rosalyn agreed to sit down with us in our new Green Room HQ to do a 5-4 segment.
My name is Roz Coleman, and I'm in the play Zooman and The Sign by Charles Fuller at the Signature Theater, and I play the role of Rachel Tate.
How is it that a play that was first produced in 1979 can remain so completely relevant?
Sadly, it's the fact that violence, random shooting violence, is probably, I don't know, is it the same or is it worse? The occasion that we hear on the news of someone being randomly killed, some innocent person, by gun violence, whether it's a teen or a crazy person or some other weird freak thing, it happens so often that it feels totally relevant, right? And there's this whole thing about the neighbors that, and I thought this was the rap community that did this, where you don't talk to the police. But apparently it's the whole black community, which I didn't even know that. There's because of the history of police having done us wrong or whatever, that you just don't talk to the cops. Now, I personally don't believe in that, because I'm a scaredy cat, and I will call 911 and 2 in a second, and I'll tell you everything. But that's also my background, is that I've never experienced personal violence. I never lived in a neighborhood that had that kind of violence.
At the top of Zooman, you have to come on stage with this incredible level of grief and maintain it through the whole production. As an actor, how do you prepare to do something like that?
I'm just so glad it's a play. You know? I'm just so glad. I mean, when I feel like, oh, poor me, I have to pretend like my kid died, I'm like, thank God, this is a play. And when I feel like I don't want to do it, I just want to do justice to all the poor women who really have to live through this, who really have to, and they deserve to see themselves on stage, to see their experience reflected back to them in a way that feels accurate and truthful. So when I'm on my pity pot, I do it for them. Our job is to communicate the play. I don't know if it's my left brain or my right brain, but I have to communicate the play accurately as written, execute the blocking and the fight choreography and everything, right? I have to fill it with life and truthfulness and all that stuff for my imagination. Jenny, you know, has to be real, my daughter. The people that I love, I have to love. And more than anything is when you come out after a show and you have somebody standing there, and I've had this happen more times than I care to count, when they say, this happened to me, this happened to my sister, this happened to it happened, the director's sister who directed the play, it happened to him. There's so many people, our country has so much violence. And these people have lived these horrific experiences and tried to work them out. And they really need that. For them, they need it to be, they need to see it.
Why did you start Red Wall Productions, your film production company?
The reason we started Red Wall Productions is because when I was a kid, I saw Fame, and I decided I wanted to be an actress. And I think from that time on, I never took math. Like, I went to high school for the arts, I went to Howard, and I majored in drama, and no one asked me to do anything mathematical again. And there's something wrong, I think, in this, the way that we're educated in this country. They expect us to, they want everybody to specialize and to come and whittle yourself down to this one thing. What are you? What is your major? What are you? Right? And you better come up with something. And even in the arts, even you can't even say drama. You have to be acting, or you're going to be acting and director. Because I'm not going to take you seriously as both. Right? But really, that's why I call myself an artist, and I call other artists artists, is because we are all many things.
How does your directing work feed into your acting?
Coming back to acting is so humbling. You know, because when you're directing, you know, or you're editing or something, you could be so critical. And so, you know, you could sit on the mountain and explain what the problem is with this person's performance. But when you're in the vulnerable position of bringing the life to the character under the circumstances that are set before you, you are so vulnerable. And it is so good for me to be in that position. I learn every time. I learn so much. I'm humbled by it, and it helps, it gives me more language, more vocabulary to communicate with other people when I'm directing. And also just like, you never really know a play or know what works until you memorize it, until you put your life into it, you know? Then you say, oh, that's why this play works.
Why did the Negro Ensemble Company fold?
The energy that it takes, usually from 1, 2, 3 people, to sustain a theater company is phenomenal, right? So you take that energy, and that was, you know, Douglas Turner Ward, right? And he produced over 200 new plays. I mean, new from scratch, produced on their feet, right? They toured the world, they did all this stuff. And ultimately, when I talked to Douglas Turner Ward the first day of rehearsal, is that he wanted to do other things. He did that, you know? And then there's also money, and there's, there's always money, you know, the loss of funding and the complications around that. And a lot of the people, you know, became successful and moved on to do other things.
My thanks to Rosalyn Coleman. Next time, we hope to be sitting down with Issa Davis, the playwright and star of Angela's Mixtape, presented by New George's Theater Company at the Ohio Theater. Now, before we go, I want to leave you with a thought. And since Rosalyn has worked with August Wilson, I thought we'd do one from him. When asked what drew him to the theater, August Wilson said, "The communal nature of the audience is like having 500 people read your novel and respond to it at the same time. I find that thrilling." So, how about you? Do you find the communal nature of theater to be a turn-on? How come? Ever seen someone in the audience texting and wish maybe theater wasn't quite as communal as it is? We want to hear from you, so leave us a comment at jeremysgreenroom.com. You can also friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and/or RSS us so you'll know when the next episode is posted. We want to hear from you because theater is interactive and we urge you to participate in the process. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time in the Green Room.